Good morning guys, welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. Today we're going to be doing a video of the Rupes Nano Hybrid Bigfoot Mini Polisher. Try saying that after you've had a few beers. Okay guys, so the first thing to tell you is this pack of tools, you know, the polisher and all of the accessories is just under £500. So there's a few guys now selling this in the UK, and I'm sure more and more are going to spring up. So you can go and shop around, buy this off who you want to, who you prefer. Now the tool has just come out. There's been a delay getting out to the UK, so I've been waiting for this tool. It should have been delivered about a month ago, but it's turned up today. So I think now they're getting more and more in now as the tool is being rolled out. Okay, so that's the first thing to mention. You might struggle, as of today, which is the end of May 2016, you might struggle to get one quickly. Okay, the next thing to mention about this tool is the fact that it's lightweight. It weighs between 470 and 520 grams, okay, depending on whether it's the short neck or the long neck version. So there's two versions of it, we'll talk about that in a second. So it's a very light tool. You are not going to get any fatigue. This is so light. You could hold this all day, you carry this around with you, it's not going to do anything. Fantastic weight, you know, to get it down to that weight, that's fantastic. The next thing that we just touched on, there are two varieties of this tool. There are the long neck variety, which is this one, and the short neck variety, and there's very little info out there initially that I could find to tell you what the difference is, you know, in layman's terms, in what one's offering that the other one isn't. So you're being asked to make a judgment call there straight away without having got your hands on the tool. So that's one thing that's really important for this review. I went for the long neck version because it gives you more reach. Now I'm going to be using this a lot on alloy wheels and spokes and stuff like that. That was my reasoning. So I wanted to be able to reach in there potentially. The short neck version seemed a bit too close to me to the main housing, although that housing is small. So I just figured that the reach was more important to me than having the kind of compactor version that's going to give you a little bit more flexibility to angle it around. So that was my reasoning. You might have a different thought process on that and want to go for the other one, but I went for the long neck version. It's really important, and I could have done with a bit of clarity on what they were offering when I was trying to make that decision. But so you have to make that up make your mind up on that yourself. Okay, the next really important thing that I need to get across about this tool, that's really cool actually and really ambitious, is the fact this isn't just a polisher that spins. It's a polisher that has three different kind of adapter systems, if you like, for the backing plates. So you can have the standard rotary option on it, so it'll just spin. You can have a 3mm throw dual action adapter on it, or you can have a 12mm throw dual action adapter on it. Now that's pretty ambitious, that is. That's really ambitious, in fact, because obviously you've got to provide all the engineering behind, you know, to cater for that. So they've done that in the form of these detachable adapters. Okay, so there's three of them, and you can see them up on here. Number one, the green one, which is this adapter piece here, which is a rotary adapter. So just screw straight into there. You've got your standard locking pin there, so you push that in to lock it so you can screw it in. Obviously do not push that pin when the machines are spinning, or you're going to do some damage. So yeah, and that's quite easy to access as well, so just be careful with that. So you use that to lock your pin in. They also give you a set of spanners to tighten these up, okay? So that's your green for your rotary. Then you have your blue one, which I believe is the 3mm throw. Yeah, the 3mm throw. So it's gonna rotate round on the main axle, and it's going to throw that blue additional kind of axle or thread around, just like a dual action polisher. It's going to be completely free spinning as well. Yeah, so you're going to be reliant. You're going to be reliant on the main rotation to give this its spin, which is interesting. And then you have the red one, and that's the same as the blue one, but it's got a 12mm orbit on it, which is big for a small little tool like that. It's a big orbit. So just if you're new to machine polishing, obviously the dual action polishers are less intense. You know, when you've got this machine just rotating at one place, it's like if you're sanding the same bit really fast, it's going to be more aggressive. If you're polishing something with your hand, you're moving all around like this as well as rotating. It's less aggressive on that particular point. I'm sure you'll know about that. I'm explaining it pretty badly, but the dual action makes it less aggressive. Okay, so generally a lot of people will finish down with dual actions. The compromise with dual action, when it's got a clutch on it, you know, when it's free spinning, is it's less aggressive. Okay, so yeah, I'm interested in how the dual action polisher functions on this, because it's a slightly different mechanism to what you're going to find on one of those DAS 6 Pros, where you push down, because it's completely free spinning and all the momentum's been generated off the axle. I wonder how easy it is to bog it down, but not too worried about that right now. Okay, so that's your attachments. Okay, that's important. So the next really cool thing about this tool is the way it's powered. Okay, so it comes with these detachable lithium batteries that are fast charged. It's supposed to be chargeable in 20 minutes, okay, with a shelf life of half an hour. And just to be doubly efficient, Rupes give you 2. So in theory that means you should never be out of power, because you get half an hour use, 20-minute charge, so you can keep going. Pretty clever. If for whatever reason you need direct power, although I can't think of a reason, if you're juggling the power on these, you should always be able to maintain the batteries. They give you a corded adapter that goes straight into the back of the machine, so you can use it corded. I would avoid using this corded. I can't see why you need to. It's going to be so much better, especially in intricate areas, using it like this. Okay, but that's fantastic. They give you that. That's beyond thorough. That's brilliant. Okay, next thing, for a small tool, this is high torque. It spins from 2,000 to 5,000 RPMs. So 5,000 RPMs is fast, okay? That's fast. Yeah, one of the things that I'm really interested in is how this machine actually performs in correction and polishing. You know, correction really is the thing that I'm really interested in, because with these tiny pads, you know, when you're using 40mm, 30mm pads, 40mm pads on the 30 backing plate, you are really going to need to spin these up fast to get them correct in paint. And this is in my head, okay, from using these small pads a little bit. If you imagine the orbit size of a pad that's this big, if you took that circumference and flattened it out in a line, the line would be what, about this big? Now if you have a big pad that's like this, and you unravel that line, it's going to be this big. So a bigger pad is, the abrasives on the outside of a big pad are travelling this far, and the abrasives on the inner side of that pad are travelling this far. So the speed at which you're putting the abrasives over the clear coat on a big pad are much higher. So to compensate for that, this thing ramps up to really high speeds, has to. So I'm interested in how it behaves and how it corrects at that speed. And that would be the main focus of this test for me, is testing how it performs, or correction. I'm also very interested in how those dual action polishers work and how effective they are. I think that's really ambitious to put those in, how they are, because, you know, one thing about dual actions and oscillations is they're good when you're on a nice flat bit, but they're hard to get good lines on edges with, because it's not consistent. So The rotary is better when you're in tight areas as well, because this thing's going to be wobbling around. So yeah, I'm interested to see how that dual action functions. Okay, the next thing just to talk about quickly is the controls. It's very simple, okay? When you get this, you're going to have it sussed in terms of, you're not going to need to read the manual to understand how to operate it, although you'll want to read the manual. Always read the manual. I'm telling that to the missus all the time. She's going to buy a new TV and then can't figure out how to turn it on. So you have your speed dial there from off, and it's got a little click to let you know you're in off, so nothing will work there. And then you've got speed 1 through to speed 5, maximum rotation. The best thing about this tool is this lovely trigger, and I think they're getting that concept from like air tools that use that, and they're bringing it to this electric motor version, and it's great. It's a slow starting thing, so you just, and it's up to full speed. It's so easy to keep held. So very nice controls on this, yeah, really well done. Okay guys, so as well as the fantastic controls, really ergonomic, easy to read controls, you've got a power gauge there that's going to tell you it's green, the battery's good. I think it goes red when the battery's bad, okay? And it's red if it's off, and you try and turn it on, you get a little red flicker as well. So yeah, green battery good. So that's quite handy to know as well. The weight distribution on this tool is really good. It's pretty balanced, okay? So you're not gonna, it just makes it easier to control. So they've really thought about the ergonomics of this tool. So a quick summary of everything we've discussed. Ultra lightweight, very good ergonomic kind of controls, very well balanced, hybrid function, 2 different forms of throw, dual action throw and rotary throw. Very fast spinning, up to 5,000 RPM for a small tool. Like I said, it needs that horsepower in order to be able to get that correction done. Cordless with these lithium batteries that are quick charging. Okay, so that's a very quick summary, and also, 2 different options in terms of that neck length. So that's our Rupes Nano Bigfoot Hybrid. First look at it. Okay, guys. So my plan then for this video was to go on and demonstrate using this tool, showing you how capable it is in correction, how capable it finishes down, how easy it is to use, and demo it on alloys and all those hard to hit areas that we all know this tool is great for, where you're trying to do it with a big machine, you're throwing product everywhere, you're not really hitting it, you're not really achieving much. It allows you to take back control and really kind of focus and zoom in and access parts. So I can understand why they've put this tool out there for, previously there's only been air tool versions of this that are small, compact really, maybe 1 or 2 exceptions, but so this is the first kind of offering from one of the big guys that's really solving. It's not just trying to solve the compact intricate area problem, it's trying to take control because this is a piece of engineering. It's ambitious, and I've talked about all those great things that they've done here. It's so ambitious and it's so beautifully crafted, this part of it, that it's quite impressive. So what is the problem? Well, firstly, before I go into talking about problems, everything in this video is my opinion on the tool, okay? Nothing's meant to be a fact, it's my opinion. We've all got a different opinion. There's going to be people out there that love this tool, and I don't want to ruin their fun with it. I don't want to ruin their love of the tool, but I have a problem with it. So first of all, my tool has some damage on it, okay? And it's a tiny 3mm scratch on this top and bottom section. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the camera. I'll show you a picture of it. The scratch is very minor, it's not very deep, it's only about 1 millimeter deep. It's like a gouge, like it's been twisted while it's been in a vise or something like that. But that's made that piece rough and it's gone through the paint. So this is all covered, I think, in a metallic enamel paint, some sort of durable paint. Maybe even a strong enamel high temperature paint or something. So I could file it down and respray it myself, but for a £500 tool, I'm not really, most people wouldn't do that. Some people would, and they might just wrap a bit of gaffer tape around it or something, but I'm not going to do that for the amount I've spent on it. So the quality control, in my opinion, needs to be better. The distributors, the guys that sold me this, were just fine. They just said, we'll send you another one, you know, sorry. But unfortunately I don't want another one, I want a refund. I'm going to go on to talk about some reasons why I don't like this tool. And again, I emphasise the fact this is in my opinion. So just some very minor points. Well, not minor points. The first thing I mentioned at the start, the lack of clarity around the long neck and the short neck. In my opinion, there's something that stood out for me there as being a bit strange about that whole arrangement, having to double up, distribute 2 versions of the product. I thought that was a bit weird. Why the hell? That's something that's not ideal. They wouldn't have wanted to do that. And they didn't put any clarity around why one version of the tool, maybe in the middle with a middle range neck, couldn't give you everything that this one was, or what's the shorter one giving you that this isn't. So that was a bit weird, and I think it will cause a bit of confusion for some people. And the fear is when you're buying one, you don't want to miss out on a function. So if I'm buying this one, what don't I get that the other one gives me? So that caused me a little bit of confusion. The other thing is the price, okay? £500 for a polishing machine. Now, I don't mind companies making money. I know that they've put a ton of work into this, research and development and all that sort of stuff. A ton of work that I can't even begin to imagine to get this built. But 500 quid for a polisher. Okay. It's a lot of money, and I really felt that this polisher should be priced somewhere between 250 and 350. You know, at that price, I thought it would sell like hotcakes. But I almost think it's pricing itself out of the majority of the market, which is the hobbyist side. Really, for me, that's where the big sales are going to be. If you can convince all the hobbyist guys that they need these, and you're going to make some money. At £500. There's going to be some pros out there that are going to want this and they're going to go and buy it, but I think their sales are going to be reasonably limited. They're going to have a boom when they come because it's a re-release, it's a hot off the press product, so a lot of people are going to want it. But after that's died away and it's been around for a while, I don't think this is going to be a massive seller for them. Okay, and especially at that price. So I'm interested. I think the price will come down later on. These are just my thoughts and my opinions, okay? There will be other people out there that when you say anything negative about a product or a brand they like, they'll be, you know. Unfortunately, I've got no axe to grind here. I love all good tools. I love anything to do with detailing. I'm just giving my opinion. Okay, the third thing, and this is the biggest thing, okay? This is the biggest problem with this tool. And as soon as I got it, and like got my hands on the tool, yeah, I just spotted it and just thought, what the hell? I thought this would be like, this thing would be some sort of molded plastic with, or, you know, vulcanized rubber or something like that. This is metal, okay? This is heavy, well, it's heavy metal, it's aluminium or some sort of cast, you know, forged metal, okay? And it's covered in paint. Problem with this tool is you're going to be putting this tool in small areas. You know, gaps between spokes is going to be the classic one where it's sitting there, you know, and it's polishing away and it's rattling away, especially in certain modes. And this metal thing and this metal axle, or this metal housing, sorry, it's going to be making contact with your car. It's going to happen. You're going to be butting up against things when you're polishing, okay? When you butt up against clear coat with something heavy and metal like this, you're going to crack it. You know, there's a good chance you're going to crack it, you're going to scratch it. And it's immediately obvious to me when I got this that this part of the tool should have been covered in some sort of rubber, you know, something like that, so that when you do make contact, and you will, that contact is safe, you know, all the energy is absorbed in the rubber. You know, it's like tapping, it's like tapping an eggshell with a spoon. When you tap this against clear coat, you're going to crack stuff, in my opinion. And when you move it against clear coat, you're going to scratch it. So I'm not too happy about that. The real thing that worries me is that it's a no-brainer to me, and I don't need to argue that with anybody. You know, I'm not an angry person that likes arguing. You know, I'm a pretty happy-go-lucky person. I don't need anyone to tell me their opinion on whether that's safe or not. In my opinion, and I've done enough of this type of work, that is not a good idea, and it's such an easy problem to solve. And if I see it straight away, why hasn't a whole company whose purpose in life is to make machine polishers, why have they not seen that and solved that problem? That worries me. Also saw there's a post on Detailing World about this, and one guy got his really early, and he put a picture up on it. Straight away, he put a picture of, he spotted a problem with it, and he's gone and got sticky felt and stuck it all over here and over the top, and showed why, you know, with it in an alloy, show why he's got it there. And it's for what I've just talked about. If you're butting up against stuff and this thing is vibrating while it's making contact, your clear coat, it's going to be dangerous. So he spotted it straight away and come up with a solution. You know, detailers are quite practically minded people. He's got the tool, in 5 minutes, this is a problem. Here's what I've done and modified the tool so it's a bit safer, even though he had the short neck version as well. With the long neck version, you'd want to be covering all this bit as well. Okay, so if you're a practically minded person, you can fix that problem yourself. You know, I was thinking of coating this in Tiger grip or something and getting a smooth rubber thing or plasti dip in it. I was looking at what I could do, and it suddenly dawned on me, this is a 500 quid tool. Why am I having to modify it? Why have Rupes not spotted that? Why have they not spotted that? It's not a difficult thing. So I'm ranting here, I'm ranting, but that kind of, I was a little bit angry about that, if I'm honest. And I'm over it now, I'm back on track, I've been to therapy, I'm all right. They should have sorted that out. Okay guys, so we're wrapping this video up now. So unfortunately, like I say, I'm not able to test this because it's got to go back to the guys, and I'm asking for my money back on this. There's lots of positives about this tool. There's going to be people out there that are going to love it. The amount of effort that's gone into the concept, the design, the controls, the power system, the ambition to use 3 different mechanisms. You know, the whole pack thing. You're getting a real load of goodies there. It's nice. Okay, it's a nice concept, it's a nice idea. So okay, so obviously I've got to throw some negatives at this because I'm not keeping it. It's unfortunate. So I hope when you watch my videos I don't come across as one of these whinge bags, you know, like my missus. You know, when you crack on a bit, I'm over 40, you start moaning at everything, you know, so there's a tendency to moan at things. And when it comes to detailing, I don't have the mindset that I'm looking to moan at things. I want to be happy with this, you know, I want to enjoy it, I want it to be a success. Unfortunately, in my opinion, there's some showstopper issues with this. The number one showstopper issue is the lack of any protective coating over around this part of the tool, okay? And I've talked about why that's a problem when it's vibrating up and it's butting up against clear coat, as it will do. I don't like that, that scares me, and I don't need to go any further with testing that out. And some other bloke on the Detailing Well forums, what he did is probably what I'd end up doing, or I'd put a coating over this of some sort of rubber coating, Tiger grip or something. So I don't need, sounds a bit arrogant, but I don't need to argue that with anybody. My mind's made up on how safe that particular feature is. Second thing, the 2 variants of the tool, the long neck and the short neck. I talked about that. That's a little bit Mickey Mouse. It's got me worried, you know, people buying this, there seemed to be a lack of consumer information on what was good and what wasn't, and what, you know, most guys that have been doing it a while will just look at it and make their own mind up, and they'll look at that and they'll think, oh, we've got a short one, I'll have that one, and they won't be, but some guys that are looking to buy this won't know, and they'll be a little bit scared. What's that little version of it giving me that one isn't? What am I missing out on? The lack of consumer information over the 2 tools wasn't great. At least when I was looking to buy it, wasn't great. So I don't know if Rupes have done anything on that, or if there's anything kicking around on the why you should have one and not the other. That just, it was minor, but it was a bit Mickey Mouse. And I'm thinking these guys they've got to do 2 versions of the tool. Well, that must be a nightmare for them. Someone must have got a you know, slap round the back of the head when they were explaining that to the managing director in the old showroom at Rupes, you know. you know, and they're demoing the tool or whatever, because that's not good business. But anyway, never mind. The third thing, I've got an issue with mine. It's faulty. It's got a tiny little scratch. Okay, it happens in life. Okay, and the guys that sold it to me have been brilliant. That's it. Not going to get too angry about it. I was a bit upset that it's got a little scratch on it. It's a tiny scratch. A lot of people wouldn't have even noticed and wouldn't have even bothered. Well, actually, I don't think that's true. I think actually most people would, because you spend 500 quid on that. You just want it to be defect free, especially for what it's doing. You know, it's about correcting paint, not putting damage into it. So yeah, most people would be upset with that, but it's mild, and I could have fixed it myself. But I just shouldn't have to, that's the point. What are the other things? There's some other little concerns I've got. I'm not going to go too far into them because without testing it, it's a bit unfair. But these backing plates are plastic, and they're plastic threaded backing plates. That worries me a little bit, because these tools are likely, if they're going into professional hands, they're going to get worked hard. And I suspect, again, this is just my opinion, and it's a bit of forecasting, and I hope I'm wrong, that they might have some failures on these plastic backing plates, but we'll see. Same with the smaller pads, and this isn't a problem specific to Rupes, this is a problem specific to anyone who's creating tiny pads for a tiny polisher. I'm guessing that these might have a tendency to rip off, and someone I know who's been using the tool for a while has had problems with that. Again, this is all my opinion, so I'm interested to see how those pads perform. Finally, and most simply out of all the negative things, is the price. For a small tool, £500 is a lot of money. Okay. Now I think they're pricing themselves out of the hobbyist market, which is a shame, because I think that's where the money is to be made. They are pricing themselves into the professional market mainly, which is going to really limit their market. And I think if they'd just dropped this down to £350, this is just my opinion, okay, Rupes can sell it for whatever they want, this is my opinion. If they'd have dropped it down to £350, they'd have opened it up to a lot of guys at home that would want them. What I think they'll get is they'll get a surge of sales when it's released, because a lot of people will want it. Then after that, I don't think this is going to be too strong a seller for them. But we shall see. And you know what? Sometimes I hope I'm wrong, and I hope I'm wrong with that. I don't want anyone to fail. You know, I'm a competitive bloke, but I don't want every business out there that, you know, to fail. I'm not that mean, so I want them to win. I want them to make loads of money, but I don't think it's gonna. So one last thing, and this is a pretty minor thing. The motor sounds a bit Mickey Mouse as well. You hear that? It sounds a bit rattly, doesn't it? I don't know if that's going to get picked up in the audio quality, but again, it's just, I was expecting it to be silky smooth, no rattles or anything like that. That rattle is a bit, for me, just doesn't bode well when something's rattling like that. Okay guys, so I'm wrapping up this video now. I always end on a recommendation of whether you should go and get this or not. Fortunately, it's quite simple. I can't recommend this tool. If I wanted to keep this tool and wanted to use it, then I'd be recommending it. But the fact that I'm sending it back and I want my money back, I can't sugarcoat that. So there's going to be guys out there that will love this tool. And like I said before, I hope Rupes do well out of it, because if you don't get people innovating and bringing things like this to market, you don't get it. And it's a great thing, it's a great option, but it's an option that I'm not going to be having in my tool set. So thank you very much for watching. We've got more videos to come. I'm going to be looking to do some more of those wax ones and try and get the forensics formula closer to a workable finished wax that we can all use. So yeah, I'll see you next time on the Forensics Detailing channel.